Yeah, welcome to Hypnotherapy Reflections. So from training to being in practice. So today, guys, we've got, and we're really thrilled to have Terrie Evans from us, who she's reasonably new to the world of solution-focused hypnotherapy and trained at CPHT in Birmingham. So Terrie brings a wealth of personal experience to the hypnotherapy she delivers. And today we're going to explore her journey, the unique insights to both personal and for those gained from CPHT, which makes it a powerful impact into her solution-focused hypnotherapy and how it's been powerful to everybody she sees. So get ready for an inspiring conversation highlighting the transformation and the power of hypnotherapy and solution-focused hypnotherapy and how CPHT can train you like her. So Terrie, say hello and introduce yourself and who you are, what you do, where you're from.
Okay, so my name is Terrie Evans. My practice is called Rise and Renew Hypnotherapy. I'm based in Nuneaton in Warwickshire, and I can offer face-to-face sessions. I'm just in the middle of renovating my therapy room,
Oh, wow. That
so
must
that should.
be fun. Was it all hard work?
Well, I didn't really have to do a lot. I just had to project manage it really. Quite lucky. My dad's a builder, so
All right.
he's helped renovate my garage. And yeah, just sort of called on, family members for favors. So
Yeah, yeah. So
that
you're
should
working
be,
from home, but it's like a conversion area so you can work from without disturbing the family and that.
yeah. So I've got a therapy room. Actually, I've got like an office in my house.
Mm.
We were kind of sort of realizing that, when clients are here, sometimes people have to sort of tiptoe around. So it's almost just going to be a relaxation room.
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
going to have an office in there. It's just going to be a
Yeah,
room with two chairs and
yeah, yeah. Yeah, brilliant. So as you know, I've talked to a number of people who've graduated through CPHT and found out about their stories. So I normally ask 20 questions and just see how you do and how, your take on the questions. So question one was, what motivates you to pursue training as a hypnotherapist?
Well, I suppose I've always been really quite passionate about helping people. I think the pandemic really gave me time to pause and reflect on the direction that my life was going. I felt not very fulfilled in what
Yeah,
I was doing. My children were growing up, had a little bit more time on my hands. So yeah, I had a bit of a reevaluation and I looked into sort of doing some volunteering, which I did, and I really enjoyed it.
excellent.
Obviously, during the hypnotherapy training, I now understand why I found that rewarding, which
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll touch on.
yeah, yeah,
And on the back of that, I just really wanted to understand the people that I was helping. So I did a counselling course
yeah,
and I just started to explore the modalities. Then it kind of
yes,
opened up a whole new world for me. So yeah. And I think prior to even sort of thinking about hypnotherapy, I'd kind of really worked on myself. I'd read a book called Professor Stephen Peters, which is the chimp paradox.
oh yes, yeah,
Um, and I think, just sort of, listening to these audiobooks really made me sort of, put me in a real much better place.
yes,
And then obviously as the hypnotherapy training came on, I realized that everything I'd sort of taught myself was part of what these hypnotherapy sessions were. But I'd obviously gone the long way around about
yes,
doing it. But this was a more short, constructive, and more manageable way to teach people what
mm,
I'd taught myself. So
yeah.
yeah.
Oh wow. So I mean that you seem to, that pause we might have had in the pandemic gave you a lot of time to contemplate where everything fitted and you looked at different things from volunteering, a little bit of counselling, which I know you enjoyed. And then you went on to do solution focused hypnotherapy, which is what you now practice from
Mhm.
my understanding. What did you do before that? So what was so rudely interrupted by the pandemic? What brought you to this?
So I mean, I still am an account manager. I work for a copper tube manufacturer. So I do that in the daytime and I do my solution focused hypnotherapy in the evenings. I'd always worked in sales since leaving school.
Mhm.
I'd done media sales, recruitment, account management. I guess I'd always been a people person, and I kind of guess I felt like I wasn't like a typical salesperson. I always had the person's best interests at heart, and I
Brilliant.
think that's why, I've been in my role for 14 years, and I've got some great relationships
Yeah.
with my customers. And the great thing is with the hypnotherapy or the solution focused hypnotherapy is that I'm able to utilize my skills every
Yeah.
day. It's improved my relationship with my work colleagues, my customers, and I'm just a better, more focused person. And I'm
Yeah.
able to take on so much more. So,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Do you think that that sales role where you was interacting with people a lot and had to learn how to interact with people and understand their positioning to be good at sales helped you sort of be better at understanding when you get someone come to you with whatever challenges they're suffering with? It helped you sort of understand quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Part of my role as an account manager is I'm the sort of in between person of
Mm,
the company and the customer. And sometimes you've got to have uncomfortable conversations and you've got to listen to them. So yeah, it definitely, even though you would think it wouldn't be, relevant, it really was.
yeah. That listening skill was so vital. And I think a lot of professions don't realize how much they use that skill to help
Hmm.
them with their profession. So that's excellent. That's really good to know. So, so you've already done some volunteering within the
Hmm.
wellbeing world, and you've looked at counselling and started some counselling course. What, how did you discover CPHT, and what made you choose the CPHT process, that solution focus process, compared to all the other courses out there?
Okay, so I was in the middle of my counselling, so level two to level three. So I had a bit of a gap. And I think because I was enjoying, you know, understanding more on sort of mental health and the
Mm,
therapies that were out there, I really wanted to expand my learning and look at, different therapies that were available. And because there's so many, people think, oh, therapy is just counseling. It
mm,
isn't. There is so many. And, you might have a really bad experience with one therapy or one
yeah,
therapist. Don't be put off because there's a therapy out there for everybody.
yeah,
And I just wanted something to support my studies. I guess with hypnotherapy, I had, like everybody else, all those misconceptions that it was, pocket watch, making people do stupid
yeah,
things. But, it's not like that at all. Once I started looking into it, I was really intrigued, understanding it was so much more, especially with all the neuroscience.
yeah,
And I think just sort of witnessing how hypnotherapy throughout the training was able to unlock your potential to sort of heal and transform yourself and obviously the people that you were working
mhm,
with was just really, really sort of motivating. And again, my mind was blown when I started, looking into it and it really helped me understand my own struggles that I've had over the years
yeah,
with anxiety, limiting beliefs, even the
yeah.
bad habits that I've picked up.
I mean, I think most of us have suffered we will know it or not, with different
Mm.
levels of stress, anxiety, and all the other things will go with it. Was there any part of the course when you were learning CPHT, the solution focus process, where you sort of went, wow, really, that's really made me want to be a solution focused hypnotherapist?
I'd say it was probably the first weekend of the training. Um, I'm quite a practical person, so we
Yeah.
obviously got to practice from the start. And my mum had recently gone through an operation on her knees, and she was
Mm.
really, really struggling with the pain management. And we were only practicing the relaxation, and she didn't feel pain for 2 days after
Wow.
the relaxation. And I was like, "What is this? This is
Yeah.
this is crazy."
Witchcraft.
Um, so yeah, and again, just seeing the clients progress. I know family can be quite biased sometimes. So when I
Yes.
started working with people that I didn't know, that made a huge difference.
So when you're, working with clients and you're seeing in that change, how's that shaped your approach compared to doing some of the other techniques you've learned?
I think it's I think what really helps with the training is just the understanding that, we're all very, very different and
Mm,
each client will bring you something new,
yeah.
things that you probably wouldn't have thought about.
Mm,
And sometimes when the client brings something, it's not actually what the problem can be as well. So you've got to keep a really open mind and be really flexible with your approach, because you don't know where it's going to lead. And I think
Yeah.
the training sort of, really helped me not pigeonhole people so much.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's easy trap to fall into. Oh, one shoe fits all. Um, One of the things about the training we deliver is very modern, it's very fast paced, as in, if something new comes along, we'll look at it and see if that research fits with us. How do you plan to stay really current in the world of therapy and solution focused therapy?
So the great thing about when you finish your training, is that you are obviously encouraged and meant to sort of look at doing CPDs, which is continuous personal development.
Yeah.
And I've actually done quite a few of these
Have
already
you?
in the last few months. Yeah, so I did the menopause one,
Yeah.
which was really interesting because
Yeah.
obviously, I'm 45.
Are you really?
I am, I am.
I actually didn't know that. I thought you was
So,
at least 60. So
oh, thank you. Yeah, so going through sort of recognizing changes, so that was really helpful because there's things that you probably don't even think about.
mm,
I've done the weight management,
mm.
walking therapy. The one that really sort of got me was the neuroscience.
Oh yeah.
I
With the lovely
absolutely loved
Claire.
it. Yeah. And just kind of just reading, particularly about the nervous system, understanding the
Mm,
vagus nerve. I've
mm.
even joined a neuroscience academy, which you
Oh wow.
kindly
Oh
gave
yes.
me the tip.
Yeah, so you've joined that, have you?
I have, and there's a course starting in September that I'm
Yeah.
gonna do.
Yeah.
Just want to
I,
just dive right in.
it's well, you've probably got the same sort of condition as I do. Once you start learning this stuff, it's like I just need to know more. So I've
Mm,
done every course there is, as you know.
mhm.
Um, so unfortunately, it's a side effect of it's so fascinating. You just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
And
know,
supervision as well. You can have one-to-ones. I go to group supervision, so just having that opportunity to speak to other people and share your knowledge and information is really, really helpful.
yeah, absolutely. And have been part of something bigger than yourself
Yeah,
that helps as well. So all that sounds amazing, but you mentioned you've got a family.
yeah,
And how do you then maintain that work-life balance? Because you've got you're still an account manager because you
yeah.
love that job. You're a therapist, a hypnotherapist, you're a mum, and you're a partner. How do you manage all that?
Well, I've got a very supportive partner.
Yeah.
But I'll be really honest, this doing the course and doing the hypnotherapy practicing actually is my work-life balance because it
Wow.
doesn't feel like work.
Wow.
I'm helping others. When you understand why helping others, what it can do for you in terms of, releasing those positive feelings, those chemicals,
Mm.
you enjoy what you do. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like work at all. I think I'm just really able to really prioritize a lot of stuff. I'm able to make
Mm.
better judgments and decisions.
Wow, that's
Really
really
all
helpful.
I'm
I
really
remember,
organized as well. I never
yeah,
used to be
really, that's
organized. No, it
changed.
was terrible.
I remember because when you first started on the course, I came in for at least one weekend at the early stages, and somebody asked me about that, and I said I haven't been in work for 13 years, and I don't think anybody believed me, including you. But
Hmm.
actually, doing what we do just makes you feel amazing. It's never
Yeah,
hard.
no,
So
absolutely.
that's nice to hear that you're feeling that. That
Yeah,
means you're, from my point of view, really embracing you're walking your talk,
yeah.
and that's always great to hear. So that's really nice. That's great. So you can do that.
Yeah. And I think it's recognizing as well when things are getting a little bit too much. I'm not a superhuman, and I'm
No,
actually not going to be the same person every day.
no.
Going back to sort of doing the menopause
Mm,
CPD, as a woman,
mm,
each you know, the person I am today and the person I am next week are going to be two different people. But the course and the training has really given me that awareness.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and apart from that, just a lot of walking, a lot of reading, being out in nature, really appreciating the moments rather than seeing them as being a chore. So it's almost
Yeah.
flipping your thought process and how
Yeah.
you view things.
That's excellent. So I'm always love to hear success stories. So from being in practice, do you have any standout moments or things that surprised you or unexpected outcomes you've had with your clients? Or something which you specialize in helping people with? Because some of us, particularly specialize once
Mhm.
you get going. Is there anything that stands out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite early days really in my practice.
Mhm.
So, you know, I'm seeing people for various different things. But when I very first qualified, I had somebody come to me for smoking,
Mhm.
and they'd actually posted that they were looking for a hypnotherapist,
Mhm.
and I just messaged them, and I felt
Yeah.
really brave doing that.
Wow.
And I just reached out and I just said, look, you know, I'm recently qualified. I'd really like to work with you. And they said, yeah. So that
Wow.
was great. They actually disclosed that they actually had ADHD as well.
Mm.
And they were almost adamant that it wasn't going to work for that reason. They'd had hypnotherapy before and it hadn't worked, but they were really determined to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did it. And I mean, I was really nervous because I thought, God, this is going to go one way or the other.
Yes.
I did actually bump into them outside of my practice a few months after, and they instantly came over to me, told me how much I'd changed their life and how grateful they were, and that they'd had recommended me to others as well. So
How gratifying was that?
it was amazing, absolutely
Yeah.
amazing.
It's hard to put it into a box, isn't it? And say, I
Mm,
felt like this because it's just your pride in the work you do, but you've changed that person's life
yeah,
and they acknowledge it. Oh,
yeah.
it's special. So
It
that's
wasn't. It
it.
wasn't. It wasn't just the smoking either. You know, they actually went on and did loads of other things as well, which was
Yeah.
really beneficial to the health. It, you know, had such a
Yeah.
knock-on effect in a positive way.
So that's amazing. So how do you look after you? I mean, you've mentioned going out in nature and, there's lots of surveys that say being in open space is really good
Mhm.
for your well-being, physical and mental. Is there anything in particular that you make sure you do to look after you?
Yeah, I'm actually really comfortable saying no to people.
Wow.
And I don't feel guilty or anxious about that either. So
Wow.
I know when to take a step back. But yeah, again, just sort of like what you just said about the walk-in therapies really helped me understand the science behind sort of movement and being outside.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that's good. So one of the big things which I get asked a lot by people who have just started training or thinking about training is, but what if people just are skeptics all the time, or quite often family are quite skeptical when you go, oh, I'm going to go and become a hypnotherapist. How do you deal with that?
Well, firstly, I let them speak, and I appreciate that, you know, that's how they perceive things, you know, probably based on, you know, what they've seen on TV shows and stuff like
Mm.
that. And then I just blow them away with the neuroscience.
Yeah. So you use what your knowledge rather
Yeah.
than, with fact, and
Yeah,
and
facts.
and
People
that
like facts.
changes their perception, doesn't it?
Yeah. And a lot of people think that they can't be hypnotized.
Yes.
But then obviously when you go through the neuroscience, you
Mm.
understand why people don't want to be. It's because they're
Yes.
not allowed. Yeah. So yeah, it's just blow them away with the neuroscience, and they're almost like, wow, you know,
Yeah.
never thought of it like that.
Because you can give clear understanding.
Hmm.
And I think that's changed a lot in the last couple of years when you talk about hypnotherapy. If you can tell people exactly what it is, unfortunately, not a lot of modalities can you tell people what it is because there's no science behind it. This
Hmm.
really helps. So that's really helpful. And I'm pleased you've got that confidence to do that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Um, what have you got from it? From training as a hypnotherapist with CPHT, what have you got personally? What's it done for you?
Oh God. Um, I think I've just been able to become the person that I always wanted to become. I'm able to deal with things better. With my kids. My daughter moved to the other side of the world last year,
Wow.
uh, and that was hard.
Yeah,
And
I
I
can imagine.
recognize, when I start to miss her, I can feel those anxious feelings rising in me.
Yeah.
I can't stop life happening,
No.
but I can change how I react to things. So yeah, just being able to deal with things much better. And I've actually given up alcohol as well.
Have you?
Yes.
Wow. How's that helped?
Massively. I think when you start to understand what the damage it can do, and obviously how limiting it can be, um, I was just like, yeah, I don't need that in my life. So it's been, I gave it. Well, I kind of sort of changed my attitude towards it, or what, for a good while, but definitely since I started this course, and then
Mm.
January, I haven't had one since
Wow.
January.
And is it a case of that you'll never have one, or you've chosen not to drink?
I've just chosen not to drink. I'm not going to say I'm never going to drink again, but
No.
I just feel like while I want to put my all into this,
Mm.
in order for me to absorb the information and retain it, and be confident in understanding it, it's just something that's just going to hold me back.
Yeah.
I've actually got a hen weekend coming up this weekend, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But again, it's a choice, isn't it? And I think
Yeah.
that's what, is you're going, I don't need to drink. I
Mm.
don't need that coping mechanism as we understand it is. So I'm not going to.
Hmm.
Not, I can't. I choose not to.
Just
So that's really,
choosing.
you've got so much from this. Do you think it's changed the way you parent and the way you are in your relationship?
Oh, absolutely. I've got older children, and when they become adults, you have to respect their views and how they feel. And yeah, there's been times when I want to react in a certain way, or the old Terry would have reacted in a certain way, and I haven't. I've took a step back, and I definitely feel like, yeah, it's massively helped my relationship with my children, and definitely my partner as well.
Do
We
you think it's
understand each other, we talk more.
do you think it's impacted them?
Yes. Yes, definitely. My partner, if he talks to people, he even sort of shares stuff that I've shared with him. So,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow, that's so good.
yeah.
So, I mean, what types of support while you was doing the course, how accessible was that support? Were the instructors there as well, and the mentors there to support you if you needed it? Guidance available?
I think what was really good is that we had different tutors. Wasn't just the same person
Mm.
teaching you all the time, and they've all got different, you
Yeah,
know, styles of teaching.
yeah,
And that was good. I also missed a weekend because I went away, and I was able to go to another training school. So
yeah,
that was great meeting other
yeah, yeah,
teachers that you probably wouldn't have met before, and then just your peer groups as well. I've made
yeah,
some really good friends,
yeah, yeah,
and even after, when you do your supervision, or you do the CPDs, I've picked up other hypnotherapists that have trained through the school,
yeah.
and we've created our own little WhatsApp groups to support each other.
Excellent.
Yeah, so
That's,
it's a great community.
um, so when you do your supervision, you're able to link in with people who have been doing it for a lot longer, and
Yeah.
but they obviously have knowledge you don't. But
Hmm.
you're also seeing people they haven't seen. I've been doing it 13 years, and sometimes somebody will come in the door and I've never seen something like that before.
Hmm.
So I'm still going to my supervision group and going, wow, this is interesting. Has anybody else worked with this? So I can get
Hmm.
support. So I don't
Yeah.
ever feel like I'm on my own. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoy the group supervision.
Yeah, that's good. So that, you looked at when you was doing the course, you had different people lecturing you continually. All of those people would have been qualified hypnotherapists, but there was also working hypnotherapists. So one of the things that CPHT massively dictate is that everybody who lectures have to be on the coalface themselves on a daily
Mhm.
basis. Do you think that added any value, that they were seeing people all the time?
Yeah, I think, we all learn from experiences, so they were able to, bring things to life, problems that they might have faced with clients, and just sharing those experiences, was really helpful, definitely.
Yeah, so their backstories is also good.
Mm,
And you've mentioned supervision, you've mentioned CPD, so there's lots of support for you out there.
yeah.
And you've gone off and started, or you're looking to do a neuroscience course, so you're getting a little bit geeky like the rest of us. Um, so what, if you was to pick one highlight from your training, what would it be?
Highlight from my training. Oh God, it's so hard to answer that question, Gary, because it was everything. But I think for me, it was learning about the brain.
Mm,
If I'd known that years ago,
yeah,
why don't they teach it at school?
I think nearly everybody says that, nearly everybody, and I've been saying it for years. It's like we get clients. I don't know if you've had any clients turn around and go, well, why has no one ever told me that before?
Mm,
And it's just like, wow. So it is, the way the brain works is pretty sexy.
yeah, it is. And it's like, in every interaction I have with people, I'm like, where's that coming from? Oh, primitive brain.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
worse when your kids then go, oh, you're in your premature brain then, are you?
yeah.
Puts you worse in there. So what did you find, or what do you find most rewarding about being a solution focused hypnotherapist, your work, doing that hypnotherapist work?
I really like the fact that you are helping people find the answers within. We, as human beings, have kind of been conditioned to look externally for things that make us happy. Nice car, nice house, clothes, shopping. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have those things, but I know it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but it is within you. And I think what I love about this particular type of therapy is that we help people find that within themselves.
Yeah.
And when you get that moment of, wow, yeah, I'm a
When you
10,
see it in
it's
there,
amazing.
do you have you see that, can you see when you're sitting opposite a client in there that's working and they've come up with their own answer, do you see it before they see it? It's sort of like you could just see it click into place and they go, oh, wow, I'll do this.
Yeah. And I think it's, we're not looking for massive things to
No.
do. It's these little tiny baby steps.
Mm,
And it could be something really simple, like, I don't know, I was working with a client who was, it was about weight management. And his was just going to the shop, excuse me, to buy some milk. So he would, have breakfast every day.
yeah.
And it
And
made
that's
such a huge
huge
impact to his week. Yeah.
because we know that
Hmm.
the release of dopamine and things like that would encourage him to do one other thing as well. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, so
Hmm.
that's brilliant. Um, so what advice would you give somebody who's considering a hypnotherapy career, looking at training?
Oh, I think it's, sorry, you're gonna have to excuse me because I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
gonna have a coughing fit.
that's right. You have a coughing fit.
I suppose in a way it's understanding that it's not just about the training. You've got to market yourself as well. So, understand that, you'll do the training and that's amazing, but be prepared that you're going to have to probably make some lifestyle changes as well, which will be for the better.
Mm.
And you'll want to make those changes.
Yeah, absolutely. What information did you want before you made that decision? If you were given advice to yourself now,
Oh, so sorry. Typical. Sorry, could you repeat that question again, Gary?
what advice would you give to yourself? So if you were now sitting there thinking, I want to do a hypnotherapy course, what advice would you wish that somebody gave you?
Well, I would definitely make sure that you research the school that you approach. I actually narrowed it down to two.
Yeah.
And I spoke to you. The other one didn't even call me back. So
Oh, that's a
yeah,
shame.
it is a
Well,
shame.
not that
But
much.
there's lots of schools out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, do your research.
Yeah.
And look at the reviews.
Hmm.
Even get in touch with people that have, trained with
Yeah.
the school.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that's really good. So that's the last question. And I know I told you all the questions, but I did have one what I held back, which I'll ask you now. It's
Okay.
quite a sneak attack question, just because I'm
Okay.
like that. So if you could have a hypnotherapy session with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh God. As in, I would be giving them hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me. I really have no idea.
You've got to pick someone.
I know. Oh God, who would I pick? Um, Princess Diana,
Wow. Why?
because I think she had a real tough time,
Hmm.
and it would be nice to sort of, help her understand, what she had inside her and what
Yeah.
everyone else saw, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That's fantastic. So to finish this very short, very informative little video, make sure we all know how to get hold of you. So the name of your business and what your website is, any socials, anybody listening who chooses to find you and use you, how would they do that?
So it's actually quite fitting, really. So my website's just actually been finished and I've not launched it yet. So this
Wow.
is exciting. So my website is rise and renew hypnotherapy.co.uk. My Facebook page is just Rise and Renew Hypnotherapy. Instagram is rise_and_renew_hypnotherapy. And then LinkedIn is Rise and Renew Hypnotherapy. But if you find any of those, there'll be links to them all. So
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that insight into you and what you find so valuable and how you help so many people and helping yourself and everybody close to you. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
thank you, Gary.
No problem. Bye bye.
Bye bye.